I was 7 years old when we moved into the Victorian on Willow Lane, with its wraparound porch and peeling yellow paint that curled like dead skin. My parents called it character, that I called it hungry. There was something about the way the windows watched, the way the floorboards held their breath when you walked across them. It wasn't just old, it waited. From the first night, the house whispered. Not the normal creaks and groans of settling wood. These were voices, faint, wet murmurs that slithered through the heating vents and gathered in the corners of my room after dark. They giggled when I cried, sighed when I held my breath, and worst of all, they knew my name, Emily. The walls would exhale as I pressed myself under the covers. Come play with us, I told my parents. They laughed, tousled my hair, and blamed my overactive imagination. But I knew better. Houses shouldn't lick their lips when you walk by. Chapter 1. The boy in the corner. The first time I saw Eli, I wet the bead at it was 3:17 a.m. I just learned to read digital clocks when the rustling woke me. Not the skitter of mice. Something deliberate. Something curious. Fingers combing through my stuffed animals at the foot of the bed. I held my breath. My skin prickled. Moonlight bled through the curtains, painting silver stripes across the floor. And in the darkest corner, where the stripes didn't reach, stood a boy. He was small like me, but wrong. His pajamas were old-fashioned, the kind my grandfather wore in fading photographs. His skin was so pale it seemed to glow, like chalk under moonlight. But his eyes, God, his eyes point two bottomless pits that drank the light. That I squeezed my eyes shut, heart battering my ribs like a trapped bird. I counted to 10, like Dad taught me when I was scared. When I opened them, he was closer, standing at the edge of my bed. His mouth moved. Tag, you're it. Then the lights flickered and he was gone. The next morning, my favorite doll sat in the corner, facing the wall, her yarn hair hacked off. Chapter 2. The rules of survival. By the third night, I understood 3 things. Eli wasn't leaving. My parents couldn't see him. He wanted to play, so I made rules. Never look directly at him for more than 3 seconds. Never answer when he whispers your name. Never, ever let him touch you. The rules worked. Mostly. But rules are hard to follow when you're 7, lonely, and the only one who wants to play with you lives in the shadows. Sometimes I'd catch myself almost smiling when I found my toys rearranged in elaborate scenes. My stuffed bears having a tea party. My dolls lined up like soldiers. There were moments in the half-light when I thought, maybe he just wants a friend. Once, I swear I heard him laugh, a real high-pitched giggle, and it almost made him seem normal, almost. Chapter 3. The basement game. The basement door was always locked. Just old pipes down there. Dad would say, jangling the key like a warning bell. Nothing for you. But one rainy Tuesday, I came home from school and found it slightly ajar. The air near it pulsed, heavy, metallic. From the darkness below, a familiar voice sang, Emily, I found something pretty. My feet moved before my brain caught up. The steps groaned beneath me, each one sounding like a heartbeat in my throat. The air grew colder, thick with the scent of wet dirt and something sharp, like blood and rust. At the bottom stood Eli. He faced an antique mirror I'd never seen before. Its glass warped, the frame carved with strange symbols that squirmed when I stared too long. Look, he said, and I did. In the mirror, I saw them, dozens of children, standing behind me, all different ages, all wearing clothes from long ago, and all with Eli's eyes, black holes where wonder should be. The girl closest to me mouthed 2 words, help us. I turned, gasping, but there was only cold air. Then Eli grabbed my wrist. His fingers felt like dry ice. My skin burned. He leaned close. I felt his breath in my ear. Now you're part of the game. Chapter 4. The missing pieces. After the basement, I started researching. The library became my refuge. Its dusty corners safer than my bedroom. I found them. 1983. Elias Graves vanished from his bedroom. 1971. Sarah Mayhew disappeared during a sleepover. 1955. The Miller twins, last seen in their basement, all from the same house. All every 12 years, and each time, the same detail. Their favorite toy placed in a corner, facing the wall, like they were put in timeout. Forever. Chapter 5. The last night on my 8th birthday, Eli stopped playing nice. I woke to his weight at the foot of my bed, something he'd never done before. My whole body stiffened under the covers. He had changed. He was taller. His limbs stretched wrong, like a puppet pulled too tight. His grin was too wide, full of shadows instead of teeth. "They're hungry," he whispered, pointing to the closet, where shadows moved like oil in water. "And it's your turn to feed them." Something scratched from under the bed. Slow, deliberate. The closet door creaked open an inch, and then, click from the hallway. My parents' bedroom door, locked. I screamed until my throat tore, until my voice was hoarse and my fists bruised from pounding on their door. But no one came. No one ever came. Epilogue. The new family, we moved out the next day. I never told my parents why I screamed all night, why I wouldn't let them pack my toys, why I still check every corner of every room. 30 years later. Last month, I drove past the old house. A new family was moving in. A young couple, laughing. A little girl trailing behind, clutching a teddy bear. She looked just about my age when it all began. I parked across the street, hand trembling on the steering wheel as I watched. Her bedroom curtain fluttered. A pale hand pressed against the glass. Waving, then a mouth, hers or his, formed two words I hadn't heard in 3 decades. "Tag, you're it."